This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago, coming from the 606 Media Studios. This is the TCSF podcast with Big Z. This week, again, it's got JC Fantasy Football, JC Dynasty Fantasy Football in the studio. Stevie B should be here soon. I don't know where he's at. And Ivan's doing his show. And then we got our main man at work at the moment. So maybe he'll jump on later on.
Surge.
Yeah, no sweat Surge.
Potentially hop on.
Yeah, he should hop on. All right. So episode 181 is brought to you by 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Great Clothing Company. Don't forget to go over there and click TCS, True Chicago Sports Fans, and find our shirt. Get a bunch of cool stuff, and punch in TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. If you're listening to us on the Anchor app or the Apple or whatever podcast app, go ahead and make sure you favorite us, give us 5 stars. If you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, make sure you hit that subscribe and smash button. Give us your best review that you can. So let's just get into it. In this live episode, the Bears have 3 representatives in Canton this year. That's exciting news. The Bulls stand pat at the trade deadline. Surprise, surprise. And they're still playing shorthanded. Pitchers and catchers. Exciting. My favorite time of year. That's why I'm wearing my baseball gear. Pitchers and catchers report this week and stirring the pot. I know JC's got a good one for us. So let's go. Let's do our Bears segment. This is 3 and Out. All right, so with so much anticipation for the last couple of years about Steve McMichael getting in through the Veterans Committee, he finally gets voted in while he's still alive. That's one of the issues with these Hall of Fames, where they wait till the player passes away and they're like, oh, here's a pity pass to get into the Hall of Fame. Not so for Steve Mongo McMichael, who actually gets into the Hall of Fame. He had a storied career with a historic defense on the Chicago Bears. JC, what do you got for us?
Well, starting with Steve Mongo McMichael's stats, the first thing that pops off at me is, and again, this may be because it looks like they really didn't keep this stat really until the last 2 years of his career. It just looks like ESPN or whoever didn't track it,
right?
Because they only have the stats from 93 to 94. Was the fact that he, according to ESPN, he only has 79 career tackles.
Yeah, that can't be right.
Which in 93 he had 51, and in 94 he had 28. So that leaves a good 11 seasons where they didn't track that stat, according to ESPN. But overall, he had 95 sacks for a career, averaging roughly anywhere from, 10, 8, 8, 7, 11 and a half in 1988, 7 and a half, 9, 10 and a half. So not bad. Interceptions, again, only 2 in his career.
Right.
And fumble recoveries had 7. So, playing on that Bears front, I think for Steve Mongo McMichael, it's definitely more of a, playing style and mentality that Bears front played with. Being a part of that 1985 and, the most, staunch defense in the history of the NFL other than the Ravens. I think that gives him plenty of credibility to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm looking at ProFootballReference.com, and it doesn't have his solo tackles at all from 1980 all the way to 93. It's just blank. They do have a bunch in the combo section, and his combined tackles, so I guess those are halves and fulls. It's 847. Does that sound right, JC? That sound like more of a a career?
840. If he had 847, that would definitely be a much better stat than what most people. So going to Julius Peppers, who also
Yeah.
is another Bear that just got voted into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Just to give you, I'm trying to see how
Compares.
many years
Yep.
Julius Peppers played for, but his total tackles were 716.
There you go.
So again, that would put Mongo very much more in a better light with the tackles than the 79 that ESPN is trying to give it.
Yeah, that is weird. They weren't keeping track of all this stuff. They weren't as analytical as we are in this day of age where we track every single thing. There was 1989. He had 108 combined tackles. He had 94 in 91. In 85, he only had 44, and 86, 87. So he had an up and down career as far as being dominant, but I think it's well deserved. And obviously, being a Chicago Bears fan, there you go, Dylan. About damn time. That's right, well deserved. Yeah, he did put a good career. He was a great personality. He loved being in Chicago. He did a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah,
in and out of Chicago for charities, and he showed up. He was always available on the radio. He was a bigger than life personality, and that's
To me, it's just like you hear that voice, like Mongo's voice, and you just know it's Mongo.
His laugh, too,
It's one of those where, he had such an iconic voice that it was like one of a kind. And then like later on in his career, he became a wrestler for a little while there, and like that voice just served him so well in wrestling. He was one of those distinct, kind of like deeper, all right, kind of like a gravelly, wrestler voice.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think, that playing style of those Bears during that time, the Dents and the, those guys, like they were just ferocious. I mean, it was like kill or be killed mentality. Nowadays everybody's friendly and, you don't really see that like I'm gonna take your head off.
Yeah, it was
mentality anymore.
Different era. You were out there to dominate on the gridiron, and you're trying to take someone's head off. Like you said, you had it wasn't like friendly. It was like, we don't like those guys. We hate those guys. We're gonna destroy them. And then at the end of the game, you shook hands with them because it was it's a manly thing to do, like much respect. We blood, blood, sweat, and tears on the football field. But at the end of the day, it wasn't so much a business; it was a pride issue. And now it's more of a business issue. You guys that go out there and they're picking each other up off the football field during a game. I'm like, that wouldn't happen back in the day. They'd probably put a foot on your chest.
Back in the day, Mongo would have shoved you back down on the ground.
Right, put a foot on your chest.
He ain't helping you up.
No, if anything, he's knocking you right back down. Stay down, kid. McMichael had like you said, just iconic voice, the iconic laugh. He always had his little two dogs. I remember him coming out to having his two dogs every at the radio appearances he would make. He would also like bring those dogs in when he was in wrestling. He had a great career in WCW, and he had the voice for it. He can talk the talk. He had no issue getting on the mic and telling you how he felt. I mean, it translated very well. Dylan saying that he's praying that Mongo makes it to August. We are praying that Mongo makes it and gets to be there in person.
Yeah, I definitely think the medical issues helped him succeed in getting the Hall of Fame votes. I think had he not been sick, he probably would have had to have waited a little bit longer. But I think there was a little pressure from everyone saying like, no, we want to get him in before he passes. Yeah. Like we want him to know that, he had a Hall of Fame career. He deserved it, everything like that. So good on the committee to, get him voted in and let him know that, hey, you deserve it.
All right, so let's transition over there. Julius Peppers, who had a career with the Chicago Bears, while most of his career was with the Carolina Panthers. Julius Peppers, you talked about how many tackles did he have?
Julius Peppers, according to ESPN, finished his career with 716 combined tackles, 553 solo.
Jesus.
And
Dominant.
then he finished with a whopping 159 sacks.
Wow.
So if you want to talk dominant, I mean, that is pretty freaking dominant.
Yeah. I'm looking at, he also had 4 touchdowns.
Yep. Forced fumbles. He had 51 forced fumbles. Fumble recoveries, 21. Interceptions, 11. And yes, touchdowns, 4.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, just definitely Hall of Fame numbers right there. I mean, it just absolutely ridiculous. 159 tackles. Basically, like, you go look down, like, if he had anything less than 7 sacks a year, like, that was his worst year. He was always above seven sacks a year.
Oh, we got Dylan chiming in. Is Pep going as a Bear, as a Panther? He's going in as a Panther. He spent most of his
He's
years.
going in as Panther.
Yeah,
if you go look at his stats, he's got way more years of service in Carolina.
He's got 10 years with Carolina,
He only
4
had
with
4
us,
years with Chicago.
right, and 3 with the Packers. So he's definitely going in as a Carolina Panther. I mean, I loved it when we got him because it was like literally a free agency 1201, and they were knocking on his door. They're like, "Hey, we're here." You know, he's coming out with boogers out of his eyes. Like, what are you guys doing here?
Plane was waiting.
Yeah.
Limo was outside his door.
Oh yeah.
Plane was waiting, and yeah, I remember us signing him, and it was like he was the big fish, and we went out and got him, and like I said, I mean, it really put us, for that year in the Super Bowl, like, having him around was very helpful.
This was still the Lovey era. Am I correct?
Peppers, I think that was
Maybe 1 year with Lovey. I think Lovey left in 10.
I think
11.
so.
Yeah, so it might have been 1 year with Lovey, because Lovey was 2005 to 2011. I don't even remember. What do we got here, Dylan?
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. Give me a second here.
Yeah. So, but I mean, this is a great acknowledgement for a dominant player. Like we said, he was the big fish that was a free agent, and we were able to pick him up. And that's what we're expecting of Ryan Poles this season with the free agency opening up. He should be the first one knocking on everybody's door, like, hey, we got a bag full of money. Are you ready to come join us? Because we got a dominant defense, we got great pieces on offense, and we need you to go forward, whether it's on offense or on defense, to dominate. I really think if the Bears can make these types of moves where they can pick up a Julius Peppers in his prime, maybe take one of those players off Washington, another defensive lineman. You know what I'm talking about? I know JC's doing 2 things at one time.
Just to go back on it.
Yeah.
Lovie Smith was from 2004 to 2012.
Okay.
So he spent 2010, 2011, 2012.
Yeah, 3 years with Lovey.
With Lovey.
Yeah, that's
now, what were we talking about with Washington?
Yeah, who's the defensive lineman that the Bears might pick up?
Well, Chase Young is going to be a free agent.
Yeah.
If you're talking about like a possible trade partner,
That could be it. Yeah.
and like dropping, like if we're moving back from one, there is Payne.
Yeah.
Is the one that we were after last season,
Right.
In free agency, but he re-signed with Washington
Oh.
before he even hit free agency, so
Boo.
we didn't even have a chance.
Boo.
So, but if we were to move back out of 1 to 2, potentially he's someone, but again, I don't know that after they just re-signed him last season that they would let him go.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Oh my. Yeah, there we go. My iPad's acting up. It's a little slow right now. So we want to get to the main course, which is going to be the greatest returner in history. It is Devin Hester. Mr. Hester.
I was going to say Deion Sanders.
Oh, man. Devian DeVoris Hester Sr. Is just inducted. And there was such a big controversy about getting a punt returner, kick returner into the Hall of Fame. But the matter of the fact is they had to change rules because of him. They had to change schemes on how to defend a kickoff and a punt return. because of that player. And that's exactly what you should be looking for, a game changer.
Yeah, to me, like if you are legit, like if you're gonna put someone from special teams like in the Hall of Fame, they have to be above and beyond anyone else in the game.
Right.
And that was Devin Hester. When you go look at kick returners, you have maybe 3 or 4 guys that you could potentially put with Devin Hester. You're talking Deion Sanders,
Yep.
Gale Sayers,
Yep.
another Hall of Fame Bear.
Yep.
You're talking, oh my God, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was a wide receiver, played for Cleveland.
Oh, jeez, I don't follow a lot of Cleveland.
Yeah, I would have to look it up.
That's all good.
But I mean, he was another one of those guys that did really well right around the same time as Devin Hester. But again, nobody was doing it like Devin Hester at the amount, at the nonstop, like every other game. And it was just, again, it was game changing. It was, Bears could be down by 14 and you're talking a 10-second play on a kickoff and it changes the whole dynamic of the game.
Yep, changes momentum for the game. You look at he played for the Bears for 2006 to 2013, Atlanta for a year, Baltimore in 2016, and Seattle in 2016. He's a 3-time first-team All-Pro, 1-team second-team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL kickoff return yards leader in 2013 and 14, 2 times NFL punt return yards leader in 2006 and 2010, 3-time NFL alum special teams player of the year, all-decade team twice, 100th anniversary all-team, 100 greatest Bears of all time, first-team All-American 2004, University of Miami Sports Hall of Fame. I mean, he literally put up a resume that tells you he belongs in Canton. Now, where he was knocked was when he was playing wide receiver and he wasn't able to understand the routes, the playbook, whatever it may be, because he did start on defense. I don't know if you remember, he did start on defense and they moved him on to offense.
He was drafted
As a
out of
cornerback.
college as a returner and a defensive back.
Yep.
And then the Bears, because of his speed, basically turned him into a wide receiver. And part of the issue was him and Jay Cutler, for whatever reason, I don't feel like they ever got along.
No.
And it was one of those where, I don't know if Cutler just looked at him as a gimmick and didn't want to use him. And, there was something there that was just off between that duo, quarterback wide receiver tandem that, and again, in Jay Cutler's defense, there was a season where he was basically forced and told, like, Devin Hester is going to be your number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
But, I feel like at that particular time, it was one of those where, like you look at today's NFL and everything is about separation and these shorter, in and out of route guys. And I think Devin Hester might have just been a little too ahead of his time to be appreciated by Jay Cutler, at that point in time. And to go back to it, the other kick returner was Joshua Cribbs.
Oh, yeah.
From Cleveland.
There you go, Mr. Cribbs.
Which Cribbs actually has more kickoff return yards than Devin Hester. But, I mean, Devin Hester's got the touchdowns to go along with it. But Joshua Cribbs, like I said, he was the other guy that I was trying to think of from Cleveland, who was just outstanding.
Yeah, I mean,
but I mean, let's talk about it. We got 19 touchdowns.
19 touchdowns
between punts and kickoffs,
right?
And almost like 11,500 something yards between punts and kickoffs. I mean, again, that is just so dynamic. That is just so game changing. And I was at I think it was Carolina versus the Bears, and I just remember, like, it was the first kickoff of the game. Literally, you're sitting there, edge of the seat. You got Superman,
Yeah.
playing in the background. Superman at home. Playing in the background, before every kickoff, and every fan was on their feet, and they're just sitting there waiting, and literally, like, I'm at the game, boom, he takes off, touchdown. I mean, again, it's just so dynamic, and unfortunately, this year the NFL basically, because they keep changing the kickoff rules,
Right.
they came out this year and basically said, like, well, we might have to go back and change it again, because they had the least amount of kick returns that they've had in, I think it was 30 years.
Yeah, because they moved up where you kick from, which means it's going to be a touchback 99% of the time. Like, at this point,
Right.
those kickers are putting it through the uprights. I mean, that's how far they can kick it.
It's not even that. It's also like, you're in such a good position anyway at 25 yards. Why even bother?
Yeah.
Because if you bring it out, 70% of the time you're less than 25 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're risking that maybe at one every 4 kick returns you might get past 25 yards.
Yeah.
It's like, why even bother then? Like, why risk the injury? Why, so, hopefully they figure out how they can, fix this issue and, bring that part of the game back. Again, we don't want anybody getting hurt. We don't want, head concussions. We don't want, torn ACLs. We don't want anybody really getting injured during the play. But again, you got to do something to, it's otherwise, what's the point of having special teams?
It's one of the most exciting plays. The punt return and kick is one of the most exciting plays. To me, it equates to, in baseball, with it's the inside the field home run. Like, the dude's running all the way from first all the way home, busting his ass, and it's exciting because then you see the relay throw coming in. All right, is it going to be safe or out at home plate? It's exciting, and that's exactly what that is. It's the home run play for football, and some of these guys are very elusive, very evasive, and they can get around. But like you said, if they change the rules to lessen the returns, then you're not going to see this type of play anymore. And that's what you saw. You saw everybody taking it at the 25 because it's good field position and no one's getting hit.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, again, something's got to be done. You got to bring that part of the game back. Because, like I said, otherwise, like, figure something else out. Like the XFL used to do, instead of like a kickoff, they used to have one guy in each end zone and they'd run to midfield and they'd dive on a ball, to fight for who gets possession. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't know what you do to, change it up or whatever, but, if you're not going to have a kickoff, then you got to do something. Otherwise, like, you might as well put the rosters down to 40 people because you don't need 53. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Overboard, but,
yeah, I know what you're saying, but you're also cutting people's jobs, right? And then you also don't have depth if someone goes down on your offense or defensive line or your cornerbacks and running backs. So, I mean, if you take it away, you at this point, why do a kickoff? Might as well say after one team scores, the next team starts at the 20 automatically, and get away from this kickoff, and that's what you're saying.
Yeah, or create some sort of, I don't know, like, hey, if your field goal kicker, makes a field goal or whatever from 50 yards, then, they get the ball to 15. If the field goals from 40, they get it at 20. If it's, there's got to be something else that they can do if we're eliminating the kickoff.
Yeah.
That,
what if you lessen,
like,
what if you lessen? I'm not even cutting you off, but what if you lessen the amount of players on the field? If you go from 11 to 7, you take 4 players off. Now it's a lot more dynamic because there's a lot more space.
Be interesting because now, yeah, you're making way more running room. Yeah, that would definitely be interesting because you're also taking 4 less guys off the field, less injury, less contact. Like I said, there's definitely more room. they got rid of the wedge blocks all those
Right.
years ago.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think
so
they can't do it anymore, right? It used to be like
again,
two people.
Everything is about player safety, but then at the same time, like you're taking away some of the most explosive part of the game.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah, it's like a home run. It's it's one of the most exciting things. When a guy breaks loose and he runs the rest of that 40 yards, 50 yards, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there like no one's gonna stop him. Yeah, and like you're just going nuts. But
I remember doing that in Tecmo Bowl.
it's like a breakaway in hockey with like an empty net. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those where it's like we know we're gonna score on this. Like it. So again, to take away that aspect of the game, especially recently in years. I mean, like I said, I can't tell you the last time I saw a punter kick return. Like at least watching strictly Bears games.
No.
It's like I said, even watching other NFL games, like it's very slim, very like most punts are just fair catched. There's no effort anymore. It's like we'll take the ball from here and we'll roll with it.
Oh boy, Israel chiming in. Look at Israel. Mitchell Trubisky was released from the Steelers. I think the Bears should sign him to be a backup quarterback. No, man. No. I don't want that guy.
Israel, I don't know you, but unfortunately, Mitch Trubisky will be spending the rest of his seasons on a surfboard in California.
I don't think he makes an XFL team. That's how bad he is. He will not make an XFL
done.
team. Yeah, he's cooked. Definitely cooked.
Listen, you came in for 2 games. You showed what you showed into the Steelers. You made Kenny Pickett look like an all-star. You made Mason Rudolph look like a starter. He's done. He's, years ago, I have a gentleman that I worked with, and his son is now a college football quarterback, and his son used to go to the Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback camp, and me and him, when we worked together, he would always give me insight on quarterbacks, and because these quarterback camp coaches, they like to talk. And basically the year that Mitch Trubisky was drafted, once the season was over, he disappeared and took vacation, while all the story was that, and what I was told was that Pat Mahomes reached out to Mitch Trubisky, hey, come work out with me, because at that time Nagy was the coach and he was running the system. Andy Reid, same system. So again, Mahomes asked and reached out to Trubisky, hey, come work out with me this offseason, blah, blah. Mitch told him, no, I'm good. I'm gonna relax this offseason. So that tells you right then and there. Yeah. And this is one of the reasons that I turned on Mitch extremely fast, was because when I heard that story from a friend of mine who, again, heard it from people who are quarterback coaches that work with NFL quarterbacks, it turned me on Trubisky very quickly, because and that is, again, one thing why I hate that we're probably going to move on from Justin Fields, but everything you hear about Justin Fields is how hard he works.
Yeah, it is. I know Israel is cracking jokes here, talking about the Bears have a coaching staff to fix his mechanics. There's no fixing Mitchell Trubisky. All right, it's as simple as that.
No,
Israel got jokes today.
Mitch was a 1-year quarterback starter for North Carolina, and he showed kind of Drew Brees-esque stuff where it was short passing routes over the middle on slant routes and whatever, mostly in North Carolina, and it reminded Pace of exactly who I just said. It reminded him of Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. The only problem is Mitch Trubisky was not Drew Brees.
No, not at all.
Mitch Trubisky is, he's better than Johnny Manziel, but that's
That's a very low
Johnny
bar.
Manziel couldn't keep on, good. Yeah, exactly. It's like he couldn't stay on the field. So
Yeah.
what are we talking about?
All right. I think this is enough for 3 up and 3 down. We'll wrap it up. And with Israel cracking jokes, thanks for chiming in. Israel, always appreciate you chiming in. So we'll be right back with more True Chicago sports fans after a word from our sponsors.
Hey, True Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride, so do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15
for 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
Thanks, Sean. Sean is, I think he flew back in from San Antonio this week. So hopefully I get to see him this week. You're listening to the True Chicago Sports Fan podcast, or you're watching it on YouTube, or you're streaming it on the Facebook, the old Facebook. And you know what? It's time to talk about our dysfunctional Bulls. So let me where's that sounder? Where's that sound? I'm a little discombobulated today. There we go. All right, the Chicago Bulls. They're actually playing right now. They're playing Atlanta. The Chicago Bulls stood pat and made not one trade. You're facing down DeMar not being re-signed. They're far apart in contract negotiations. So you had to get something from, and they did nothing. You had Vooch, you could have traded as well. I know Caruso was a high commodity, but the Bulls wanted the King's ransom for him because he signed for like 2 more years after this year. I don't understand what the logic from AK or Acme, Mark Eversley. Oh, I got 6 comments over here. Jesus. We have all that, and there's no movement. There's no sense of urgency. And I feel this administration might be even worse than Garpax. At least Garpax would make some moves and make some moves. And right now they're talking about finding players in the buyout market. That's shopping in the clearance section at the thrift store. Like, I don't understand what they're doing. They're down Lonzo. They're down Levine. Patrick Williams is still out. Caruso's out today. That's 4 players already. That's 4 starters. They're down 4 starters. And you're putting all this pressure. I think the Bulls went into overtime last game. These guys are playing max minutes. You got Ayo and Dalen Terry now showing up. Ayo's playing really good, scoring about 10 to 12 points a game. Kobe is not the guy. He needs rest. Like, he can show out. He can bust out a good game, but I don't think he can do it the whole length of the 82 game season, because teams are going to stick with him, put a defender on him, make him pass the ball up, especially with Vooch sometimes being so hesitant and DeMar showing his age. All right, we got Israel chiming in on the Bulls now. The Bulls front office are not worried about losing their jobs. That's what comes out. You're right. You're completely right. If you're doing a bad job, and this is a White Sox and Bulls Reinsdorf problem. If you're doing a bad job, let's promote you. Let's give you a contract extension. It's as simple as this. You work 3 years, then I'll talk about an extension. And if you're not producing, it's time to go. And I'm sorry, you've got to go. It's a results-based business, and the only thing that they're worried about is those butts in the seats, because you have a great fan experience. And we've mentioned this ad nauseum on this podcast. It's just about the fan experience right now. Let's see what else. Israel, do you want to just join the podcast? Kobe has been a beast, but he hasn't been as consistent. Like, there's games where he's putting up 30 and there's games where he's putting up 8 points. I need that consistency. I'd rather have him score 18 points a game and be consistent rather than that yo-yo effect. And I know even Steph Curry done that. He did that 60-point game, and then he had like a game where 8 points. So it does happen, and yeah, he is going to get burnt out. But there's definitely have to be a rebuild. I'm doing most of the chatting here.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's be honest here. Like, I when the trade deadline passed and we had absolutely nothing to show from it, I was just like livid because again, you got DeMar DeRozan. He's on an expiring contract. You guys can't come to a decision on money. Like what are we doing here?
So frustrating.
Like, and basically it is what it is because Io's, or AK is going to come back and say, "Oh, we made the playoffs." Like, who cares? Who cares if you're the 9th best team in the playoffs
Just to
from
get
your
bounced
division,
out.
or you're
To have one
what I mean?
playoff
Like,
game at home.
Yeah, nobody cares. All
Nobody
right,
cares.
we all know the product that you are putting on the court right now is hot garbage. All right. Granted, Zach LaVine's hurt. He's out for the season. I understand all that, but at the baseline, you have to, as a GM, look at your team and say, we are not good enough. We are not good enough to even compete with Milwaukee. All right. Like, you have to understand that. And again, I'm not saying getting all these draft picks is going to fix the issue.
Right.
All right. But at the same time, like I was reading something that, the Golden State Warriors were a very hot team trying to go after Caruso.
Mhm.
Again, I don't know what the Bulls were asking for in trade compensation.
2 first
But
rounders.
at the same time, it was 2 first.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's a great defender. But how many times have I said on this podcast, he's the man of glass?
Yep. Someone stepped on his foot
you
last
can't
game and he's
ask-
not playing now.
Yeah, you cannot ask for 2 first rounders with a guy who's out every 3rd or 4th game.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, we've said he is one of the best defenders. He is going to play hard. He is going to play extremely tough. And then by doing so, he's going to do something to tweak an elbow or a shoulder or a hip or an ankle or a knee or whatever.
An eyelash.
He may stub his toe walking down the hallway in his house and be out for 3 games at this point.
Yeah.
My whole point is that we as a team, and again, this was said like right around the All-Star game, was like AK came out and said like, "Oh, well, we're just worrying about making the playoffs. Like, we're not worried about, building a team or a roster or any of that other stuff.
Yeah.
We're trying to make the play." Dude, I don't care about the playoffs anymore, because what's the point of going to the playoffs if you're one and done? Like, it does nothing, especially with these super teams that every superstar get some young youth that are good players that eventually, like, hey, a vet wants to come, like a Durant wants to play in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix, it was a good team. And then Durant's like, oh, like they got some good young guys, man.
Send
If
me
I
over
go
there. Yep.
we got a chance.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, instead, it's like we have the aging older players that like no good player wants to come play with
No. Not
because they're olding and age or veterans, and like they're talented, but they're not talented to win a championship.
No, not enough. You're talented enough to fill out an NBA roster, but not championship caliber. Israel over here also still chiming in. Do we have any future picks? Do you have any picks or now in the future? So Chicago Bulls have this year, they have their own, which they should be tanking because they need a higher pick. They have the 2024 Portland pick, which is lottery protected, and they don't have any second rounders until 2028. They sent the 2025 first round draft pick for DeMar DeRozan to San Antonio. They sent the 2024 pick to New Orleans, second round. 25 just to San Antonio, second round. Washington Wizards for Julian Phillips in 26, and 2027 second round pick to Washington in the Phillips trade as well. You're not developing anybody. You don't have draft capital. You're maxed out on money because of Zach LaVine. Your players are injured, and you don't make any trades. This is a recipe for disaster. With the Chicago Bulls. And the Bulls have never been able to lure a top-tier free agent. They've always been the pawn that they use for negotiating, from LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Kobe used us. Who else? Just about everybody has used us as leverage. They're really an organization that everyone is laughing at. And to have such a historical organization that has won 6 championships and have the lure of Michael Jordan, they're like, oh, I don't want to play Michael's house because that's been done and over with. It's going to be 30 years. Michael's no longer there. He's not even part of the team. He doesn't even show up for being in the Ring of Honor. He doesn't care. It's as simple as that. The only way this is going to change, and this happened with the baby Bulls, is that stop going to the games. Hurt them where it hurts them, which is their pocket. Stop going to these games, and you'll see how fast they change the roster over to put butts in seats. Because right now, they're just worried about putting a little circus on for you, so that way you get entertained, and the popcorn is thrown by Benny the Bull, and you got the guy with the chair on his chin and stacking all the chairs all the way up to the rafters. That's what you got. Oh yeah. Israel. He doesn't care. The D League, as far as the D League, well, that's your Terry, your Dalen Terry, who's been bounced up and down. And again, if they don't develop very well, that's what's going to happen. You have nobody in your minor leagues to come up. So if you're not drafting well, you're not scouting well, which is what the Bulls have been known for, to drop the ball. So right now the Bulls are playing. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yep. Bulls are playing right now, and I think the score was like 62-59.
Yeah.
Bulls over the Atlanta Hawks. Like I said, I mean, right now you go look at even the past couple games. I mean, 2 wins, 3 losses, or 3 losses, or 2 wins or 3, whatever it is. I mean, they're about 50-50 right now in the way of potentially win or loss recently.
Yeah.
And like I said, don't get me wrong. Maybe we do work out a long-term extension with DeMar DeRozan in the offseason. I doubt it. But, again, we're going to lose Patrick Williams. We're going to lose all these guys. We have no draft picks to replace anyone. It's going to be brutal. I mean, like I said, like you said, hurt them where it hurts. And, like I said, it's up to people to sit there and say, hey, you know what? We are sick and tired of watching a team make it to the playoffs and then get bounced in the first round.
Yep.
Year after year after year, the same mediocre team. And like I said, you lose DeMar DeRozan, it's going to be even worse. So, and like I said, it looks like next year, from what I'm looking at, top 10 protected pick, with the Spurs potentially for the DeMar DeRozan trade in round 1. So if we make it to the playoffs, guess what? We lose our first round pick.
Yep.
So again, all you're doing as a team, as an organization, is shooting yourself in the foot by making the playoffs. So do yourself a favor. Let DeMar walk in the offseason. Let Pat Will walk in the offseason and be a top 10 pick in the NBA.
Yeah.
Lonzo, and like I said, maybe this is what he's hoping for, is Lonzo will eventually come back next season. If we can re-sign DeMar and LaVine and Vooch, that's his, big 3 or big 4, that he was hoping for, with Kobe White joining them, but again, it's, I don't know where your head's at. I don't know what you're thinking. I know DeMar says he would like to stay, but again, money talks, and I don't know that the Bulls have the money to pay him.
Yeah. All right, so the Bulls are 25-28, 5-5 in the last 10. They just lost 1 previous to today's game. it's time to blow this team up. And even if Acme is over here thinking that if he builds a big four and adding Kobe White, once Zach LaVine is back, that takes shots away from DeMar, and it takes away from Kobe. It takes away from the offense. We've already gone over this. If you want to listen to that, go back into prior episodes, and we've discussed this so many times about Zach LaVine being the man in the mirror. So I'm done with the Bulls. I really got nothing on the Blackhawks this week, just because they continue to lose and Connor Bedard is out. They're playing close games and then getting blown out at the end. There's just I got nothing to report. It's just sad at the House on Madison to be a fan of the Bulls and of the Blackhawks. But go ahead.
Well, the only good thing is hopefully the tickets get cheaper.
They're
I
not.
think I saw there's a Bulls versus Pistons game where I think the cheapest ticket was like $26.
Yeah, but the Blackhawks are still expensive.
Well, I mean, that's the Connor Bedard portion of it. Unfortunately, once we got announced that we had the number one pick and we were blah blah blah, the season tickets sold like crazy at a much higher price. And unfortunately now, people who are selling their tickets on StubHub
are trying to get their money back. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. They're trying to make their money back for their season tickets to watch a mediocre team that, unfortunately their star player isn't even available to play at the moment.
No.
So
yeah, Israel.
But come on, baby, keep losing so we can get that number one pick so that we can go ahead and get some more talent with Bedard. And like I said, I don't know, maybe we need to draft a better goalie that doesn't give up 6 goals in a game.
Yeah, speaking of that, they lost
or
the last
just
6 games. Yeah, they lost the last 6 games: 3-4, 1-2, 0-1, 0-3, 2-6, 0-2. So, if you're a betting man, bet this team.
Were any of those San Jose? Because I know we said they had 2 games left with them. But
no, they lost to the Canucks, Kraken, Oilers, Flames, Wild, Rangers. They play the Canucks again, Penguins, Senators, Hurricanes. When do they play? The Sharks
right now.
The Sharks, they play them on the 17th. I think that's St. Patrick's Day.
Sunday, March 17th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a ways away then.
Yeah.
Bedard will definitely be back by then, but
yeah. Yeah. Both teams should be tanking.
Oh man. ESPN right now, tickets as low as $17 versus Vancouver. Pittsburgh, tickets as low as $32. I don't know if this is okay. Yeah, so these are all home games. Let's see.
It might be time.
Saturday, February 17th, 2 p.m. Versus the Ottawa
Senators. Yeah,
that might be
the play.
Maybe. I was gonna say I'm off on Saturdays. That might be the play, sir.
All right. We'll talk off air about that.
Catch a game.
Yeah, we'll talk off air about that. We'll get that done. All right, Israel. Thanks for chiming in, dude. You're killing it on the chat. Yeah, you might be able to afford the rest of the home games. That's right. Yeah, I think we should. You want to talk a little baseball? I mean, just a little bit, because there's nothing really happening.
No, definitely. Let's talk some Cubs.
All right, Israel. Thanks for chiming
White
in. White
Sox.
Well, the Cubs were on day 135, 136 of belly watch. He still has not signed, with pitchers and catchers reporting on this Wednesday, the 14th, on Valentine's Day. So, Israel, every Monday, sir, every single Monday we're live. And if you want to listen to the podcast, you can listen to it anywhere on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, anywhere you want to listen to it. It's available at midnight on Tuesday. So thanks, Israel, for chiming in and being a fan. We appreciate you, brother. Yeah, back to the Cubs. We're still on belly watch, and they're playing chicken.
Every day that he waits, I feel like it's $1 million off his salary.
Yeah.
So let's just
it's definitely dropping.
Keep holding on. Come on, Cubs.
It's at that commercial. Hold. Yeah, I really think he'll be there.
Go ahead and sell now. I already did.
Yeah, I think he'll sign in between pitchers and catchers and the rest of the roster showing up. During spring training. You don't want to. He's gonna be like, I need to be on a team. Let's go. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
It is a tug of war.
Yeah. The one thing I want to bring up is I think it was Patrick Steele. He put out there on the internet that he watched Imanaga go through a pitching session, like a bullpen session, and he basically said like, this man's stuff is filthy. So he was talking about he's on the internet searching for baseball cards of Imanaga.
I did see that. Yeah,
that it's going to be worth some money. So that is great to hear from one of your Cubs players that, you know, international player who is coming from international, that, you know, it's not the MLB, you know, it's a, I don't know that I want to say a lower talent level per se, you know, I don't want to disrespect anyone, but, you know, you never know when you have an international player coming from somewhere else.
Yeah.
If they're gonna be able to be what they were in their own situation when they were overseas.
All right, Israel still chiming in with to sign Bauer, Trevor Bauer, who said he will play for the league minimum and put incentives on there.
I mean,
take
dude,
a flyer.
I brought that up how long ago to you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I brought that up, I think it was a month ago, and I was sitting there like, hey, the man's quote unquote not guilty. The case got dropped.
Right.
You know, I know it's bad PR. Trust me, I know it's bad PR.
But you had it with your closer for the World Series run. He had the same exact thing. He was accused of hitting his wife, and the Cubs swept that under the rug. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. He was actually proven innocent, and let the man play. He's a good pitcher. He had good numbers over at KBO.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. Bauer has also been a strange bird. He has been very kind of whatever in the league, you know, doing his own weird stretching, whatever. And like I said, he's a cat that does his own thing.
Well, it's as simple as this: you're coming in on a minor league deal as a league minimum, and these are our expectations and rules. If you cannot meet them, you will be cut. Simple, plain and dry, and that's how you handle that situation.
And like I said, I brought this up like a month, like 8 episodes ago. I brought it up, and you know, we had to then turn around and go, wait, was he still with whatever team he was with? You know, because we didn't know if they dropped his contract or, you know, what his contract situation was. But I brought this up like 8 episodes ago or 9 episodes ago and said, hey, for a league minimum, you're talking about a guy who was
filthy,
you know, a all-star and filthy. And, you know, he still does some videos, like I'll see it pop up on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's a former, you know, college, whatever dude, and like they hang out, and like Bauer pitches to him all the time. And like I said, I mean, he's still throwing 86 to 93. So,
yeah,
I mean, like I said, if he's still hitting those numbers, you know, it's one of those, why not? Like I would take a shot on it.
Yes. The White Sox should take a shot.
I know it'll be hard to sell to the fan base, but at the same time, do it. Like, because you know, I even put in
easily spin that into a redemption story.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, when the news came out that he was willing to take a league minimum, I sent it to my guys in, you know, our group chat.
Yeah.
And I basically said, like, dude, even if he's the 4th guy in the rotation, 5th guy in the rotation, that's still huge.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting a top arm 4 or 5 years ago, and I think he's still pretty young. I think he's, you know, still like maybe close to 30. You know, let's see if we can look it up. So let's see. What is Trevor Bauer's age?
Trevor Bauer is, he's 33. That's pitching.
I mean, for pitchers, that's still decent.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, how old is Kyle Hendricks now? I mean, Kyle Hendricks
50.
is
grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chatwood's still pitching, yeah.
But you know, Kyle Hendricks, you know, even, you know, at his age, he was always more of a placement guy. I mean, he was never
more of a Greg Maddux.
You know,
I'm gonna spot it up, right?
Yeah, he was never going to blow it past you. I mean, but he definitely You know, Kyle Hendricks' age.
He's 33.
Kyle Hendricks, 34.
Oh, 34. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
well,
He looks old. So yeah, Trevor,
maybe Bauer's arm is a little more lively.
yeah. I mean,
But
go ahead.
I mean, the amount of innings Kyle Hendricks has pitched probably as well.
Yeah.
Where Bauer's also been out of baseball now for 2 years, although he did pitch in Japan for a team,
Yeah.
I believe last year from what I read. So, like I said, why not?
Why not? Let's see. The last time he pitched was for the Dodgers. 1 complete game in 17 starts. He went 8-5 with a 2.59 ERA, below 3. So, why wouldn't you want that?
Well, like I said, I mean, to me, I would do it. Are there any other pitchers available in free agency? None that I can think of off the top of my head that would really, to me, Trevor Bauer is one of those guys I would definitely take a chance on, but maybe some, bullpen guys, maybe, but not top of the end starters.
No, not top of the end. I mean, I can, let's see, starting pitchers.
I mean, unless you're talking trades, and then that's a whole different ballgame.
Right. Yeah, I'm not looking. Let's see. Everybody's signed. I'm looking at from and to. All the major names have been signed. There's nothing. Yeah, Trevor Bauer is one of the teams that does come up. Hold on. There's a lot of TBDs here. You're looking at Heen Jinru. He's 37. No. Julio Urias, who's got that case. No. Clevenger, who pitched very well for the White Sox, actually. But he's making 13-14 million, so that's not somebody you want to go for. Blake Snell, that's a little too costly for the Cubs because he's asking about 25 to 30 million. So I don't think that's going to happen. Montgomery's still there. Corey Kluber, another one that's 38. Zach Greinke's 40. Michael Lorenzen, 32. You got a lot of guys with a bunch of miles. All right, let's see. That's it. Do you think the Cubs will sign that player from Toronto, Chapman? He would be such an outstanding third baseman. Chapman. What's his name? Let's see. You're talking about. Oh, I see who you're talking about. Matt Chapman. Actually, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to sit pat with what they got. You got Nicky Two Strikes who can play third base. He's Kluber signed yesterday. Look at that. I think between Morel, Nicky Two Strikes, they have Wisdom's still there. You have a lot of options at third base. While they don't have the bats, I think defensively they'll platoon it until they find something at the trade deadline. If they're going to make that push right now, with the lack of signing of talent, I don't think that right now they're going to do that. Right now they're going to sit pat, and unfortunately, I think that they're going to try to see how much juice they can squeeze out of the talent they have with this new manager, who did so well in Milwaukee. So that's exactly where I am with that with the Cubs. I hope they do well. I have nothing against the Cubs. I just really you're banking on all this talent that you had for a long time in the minor leagues that's coming up. That you're banking on that because you really don't have anything. You have that one pitcher we just signed that's going to be doing well, but you're also looking for Cody Bellinger to sign. So we're still in a waiting game. So I don't know what the Cubs are going to do. I don't think they sign Chapman at all. All right, let's switch over to the other side. Who wants to let player from watch?
Just really real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I looked up Bauer stats from Japan. It looks like he was in 24 games. He had 11 wins, 4 losses. His ERA was 2.59 for one team. And then he must have got traded.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry. his ERA was 2.76 for one team over 10 games, and then it was a 1.73 for the other team that he only played one game for. So for a combined total of 2.59 ERA in Japan. So looks like he still got his stuff.
He definitely still has his
stuff.
stuff.
At least against Japan talent.
Yeah.
Which, Japan hits for contact. So, looks like he pitched 156 innings. Which even when he was in the MLB, that's about average for, what he was doing.
Yeah.
153, 176, 190, 176, 175. So like I said, that 156 last year pitching in Japan, that puts him essentially right where he was, pitching in MLB. And still getting a 2.59.
Again, I think even the White Sox should take a flyer on him. I don't care. We need some talent on the south side because there's no talent, nothing to report. We made all those trades for the young kids.
You need talent on the field. I mean, you don't necessarily need pitching talent. You need, I guess you need talent everywhere.
You need talent everywhere. So, but the thing is, if you do pick him up, you know what? If he does well, you can flip him at the trade deadline to a contender or a team that's missing a pitcher because they went down. So it's an asset.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing is, like I said, for the Cubs, it's a win-win. I mean, even if he's doing horrible, he's an arm that you could potentially trade away. And you're nonetheless, for $1 million. So I would do it.
I would definitely do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll come back with Stirring the Pot after a word from our sponsors. So you'll listen to a little commercial here in a second. So here you go.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh clothes from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create that simple yet classic style that represents that Chicago Southside lifestyle. From t-shirts to hoodies, hats to glassware, they've got you covered. Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. So do it right now. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15.
TrueFan15.
For 15% off your entire order. Let me say it again. That's gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order.
What up? It's Martin Moreno, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast.
Thanks, Martin. Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with Big Z in the house. This week again, we got JC, Dynasty Fantasy Football. Follow him on his handle on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You can follow me at Big Z _606 Media or 606 Media Group on IG and everywhere else. But ladies and gentlemen, it is that time again. And if you don't know what time it is time for Stirring the Pot. All right, JC, what do you got for us this week? I know you said you had something.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a topic, and I was hoping for a little more little more guys on the pod so we could actually have a discussion about this. Unfortunately, it's just me and you. I was hoping for Steven and Serge to be on.
But we got Israel.
So that,
Israel's here.
If Israel, if you're still here, I want to hear from you as well. So here is my Stirring the Pot topic.
All right.
And maybe we'll bring it up again next week and ask Steven and Serge next week. But here's my Stirring the Pot topic. If you are dating someone and your significant other buys you a jersey for a sports player who is not on your team, but they buy it for you in a very nice manner because they know that the player is on your fantasy team and you've talked about this player, etc. Would you wear that jersey to an event that your team? So say your girlfriend buys you a Giannis jersey and you have to wear it to a Bulls game, even though you are a Bulls fan. Would you wear his jersey to a Bulls game?
Oh my God!
Or would you wear a Brett Favre Viking jersey to a Bears game as a Bears fan? to sit there and just be like, girl, I love you. I'm doing this for you. I hate myself. I want to take this off and burn it so badly.
Oh my
but
God.
I'm doing this because of you.
Oh my God. This is, if you've ever seen the show, that 70s show, that happened when Eric Foreman and the gang and Red Foreman showed up to the Packer game. And Red says, here's some money, go get a jersey. And he has his jacket on. And he unzips his jacket, and he's in Lambeau Field, and he unzips, and he has a Bears jersey on. The equivalent for me would be someone buys me a Cubs jersey, right? And I have to wear it to a Sox game. I don't know if I could be able to do that. I just don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I would probably be like, you know what, you're gonna have to return this or.
Well, like I said, so your girlfriend hears you talking about Ryan Sandberg, right?
Yeah.
Because Ryan's going through this whole thing.
Right.
She buys you a Ryan Sandberg jersey.
Yeah.
Could you wear it to Guaranteed Rate Field to a Cubs Sox game?
I'd probably be able to get away with it because I'd put on a Sox hat. I mean, people are like, oh, pick a team.
You would think so. But as a gentleman that had to wear a Brett Favre Viking jersey to a Bears game, I was wearing a Cubs or a Bears scarf and a Bears winter hat, and I got chewed out.
I think it's
by
different.
Bears fans. Pick a team, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a traitor.
Yeah. I think Bears Packers.
Look at this guy. He's
Cubs,
confused.
Sox. Yeah, Bears Cubs. I mean, Bears Packers and Cubs Sox would be the worst thing to do it to. Oh my God, I can only imagine your face and your reaction the entire time you're at the game, eating crap from everybody there. It'd be tough. I would probably be like, you know what, this is a very nice jersey. I will wear this to a Cubs game, but I'm not wearing it to the crosstown. I'm wearing my team. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like if you're a Cubs fan, you're not going to wear Sox gear or Cardinals gear. I think Cardinals is probably even more sacrilegious than White Sox gear for Cubs fans. I don't know how you did it. You're a bigger man than I am, sir. I would have said we will go to a different game and I will wear this jersey. I am not wearing it to my Cubs Sox at Sox Park. No, I couldn't do it.
Serge, how about you? Or Israel, how about you? Could you do it? Could you wear a rival team in your division? Could you wear their jersey knowing that you're not a fan of them? You're not a fan of the team. You are a Bears fan, die hard. But your girl messed up.
Yeah, Israel
She bought you the wrong jersey.
Yeah, Israel, what's your answer, man? He said you might probably wear a Pittsburgh jersey out of respect for Roberto Clemente. Yeah, I actually wore my Roberto Clemente this past Friday. While we wait on that, I don't know how you did it. Oh, here it is. He says no way in hell, he says.
Yeah. Let me tell you guys, it was rough. It was so rough, and this was part of the story in the pot last week, because you asked me what was the we phrased it as what is the worst gift. Again, it was a great gift. It was heartfelt. It was very meaningful. But God bless it, was it so hard to wear a Vikings jersey as a Bears fan to a Bears Vikings game.
Oh my God.
And then Brett Favre kicked our ass. He kicked our ass that game. And I'm sitting there wearing a Brett Favre jersey, walking out of the stadium, Vikings win, and people are just, look at this man, he's confused. Oh man, and it's just like, oh my God, bro, let me pull my hat down over my eyes, just keep walking.
Yeah. Well, Israel's over here saying wearing a Roberto Clemente jersey. I mean, first of all, that's a Hall of Famer. You can wear that jersey in any ballpark. No one's going to give you any crap for that. But it's like, something that's more recent, more rival, more recent, that's a different problem.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? Like I can wear a, I don't know, name. I can wear a Clyde Drexler jersey. I can wear a Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm not talking about that. I am talking the man, Brett Favre, who killed the Bears for how many years?
Yeah.
You have to wear his Vikings jersey to a Bears-Vikings game.
As he's balling
As
out.
a Bears fan.
And that was the year he was balling out with the Vikings. So,
Yeah. And let me tell you, sir, it was rough. And it was just like, I don't think you realize how much I care about you to do this to myself.
I just hope that you had a great night after that game, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink. Ha, ha, ha.
I got in trouble later that night, so no, not really.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right, JC, you ready to wrap this up? I know it was a short, short one
like I said,
today.
it would have been nice to have some other opinions on air, like, because I know Steven has a significant other, and Serge's got kids, so I assume he has a significant other. So would have been nice for them to chime in, and like I say, could you wear a Detroit Red Wings jersey to a Blackhawks game? As a Blackhawks fan, I mean, like that kind of situation.
Like it would have to be a Chelios or I don't know. I mean, like Chelios, Kane. Is Kane too soon? Is it too soon to wear a Kane jersey? I don't know.
Like I said, man, it like I said, this is a topic I would love to bring up again next week if the guys are on.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, I think it is a topic of definite contention of could you or could you not do it to yourself and put up with the embarrassment / brutal beating verbally. Man, I told you off air, one of my high school teachers was 2 rows behind me at the game, literally saw me and goes, "Mr. Howard, what the hell are you wearing?" And I'm just like, "Oh, come on." I literally looked at him and was like, "I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm sorry."
Oh man, that's a great story. Oh man. All right, JC, let's get out of here. I know it's a short version, but there wasn't a lot of Chicago news, especially with baseball barely starting up, the Bulls doing the same thing, the Blackhawks still losing. And the only good news was that we have Devin Hester, Steve McMichael, and Julius Peppers joining Canton this summer in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So thank you, everybody who has been watching, everybody who is listening. Thank you for your support. Big shout out to Israel this week for joining and being interactive with us. Thank you, Israel. I hope you have a great night. I hope to see you next week and we can be more interactive. All right, y'all, that is it for today. Thank you for listening. A big thank you to our sponsor, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to go to gritclothingco.com and get your official podcast t-shirt. Search True Chicago, it'll pop right up, and then when you check out, hit TrueFan15 in that promo code section, TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. That is TrueFan15. Get your shirts now. Check out the rest of the 606 Media family. We got No Water on the Weekend. Steven shows up once in a while, for his comic relief. We love you, Steven, but I don't know where you're at. Hopefully
we're done advertising your show, sir.
I actually just started a new show. It's called Impossicated, and where I interview different people from different walks of life. And first episode will drop on Friday. The audio version for sure will be dropped on Friday. Video, I'm still trying to get it out by then as well too. So that's the new show, Impossicated, and I will have a lot of familiar faces pretty soon because I'll be doing more interviews. So look out for that. Shout out to Ronish, Panic, Serious Beats, and Custom Made. Custom made for the beats we played on today's show. Check out paniconthebeat.com for your moment merch and gear. All the beats we played were on the audio version, so look out for that. Check us out on social media, True Shy Fans on Twitter. TCSF Pod on Twitter. We have you got JC Dynasty Fantasy Football on Twitter. You got Big Z _606 Media. And if you want to reach out to us on our email, TrueChicagoSportsFans@gmail.com. All right, y'all. For JC, I am Big Z, and we'll see you next time for episode. What is this? 181. We'll go for 182.
181.
So yeah, we'll see you for 182 next week. And until then, be good to each other for the love of sports.
A few moments later.
Wait, the Bears are what we thought they were. They're what we thought they were.
This is not how we wanted it to go. You almost can't even make it up. It's that bad.
Oh, my goodness! Didn't see that coming!
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup!
You have a lot of incest.
That's real.
Shut your mouth!
Loverboy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos! That's all. I shouldn't have had those artichoke poppers.
Thanks, Cubs!